Hello Pisces, welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 5 of Swords. This is all about the intellectual energy. This is maybe a card that says, when you commit to something, you stay the course. You don't change your mind very often, right? That you commit to it and you do it, you follow through, you give your word, that's it, you make a promise, done, right? But sometimes, you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to one day realize, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this idea. I don't believe the same things I once believed. I'm not the same person I once was. You're allowed to say no after you've said yes, right? And that's what the 5 of Swords is about. It's the idea that we don't have to just commit to one belief and stick with it for the rest of our lives, that as new facts come in, as we get a little bit more experience here, as I get to know this thing a little bit better, I can make up my mind about it. It might be different than what I said before. Oh, well, yesterday you said you would do it. Yeah, but that was yesterday, And we don't go out of our way trying to break our promises or break our word or to say things that we don't truly believe, right? Nor do we have to consistently say the same thing, nor do we have to be so absolutely married and committed to what we've said that there's no room for any kind of growth or change. That's what the 5 of Swords is all about. It's about the intellectual energy, the thoughts going around, new data coming in, new beliefs coming in, new opinions, talking to other people, learning more information. I start to change what I think about stuff. Well, that's good. We want to be able to change and grow our brains and our minds, right? Nothing worse than a mind that is refusing to acknowledge any new data. Okay? So this is kind of that mind that's always trying to test the hypothesis, always trying to solve the problems and to learn and grow and to have that conversation. It could be argument. It could be, this could be a competition or a debate kind of energy, but let's put it into some context, right? Let's see what's going on here with this. A very interesting way to start, though. Now we've got, devil energy. I think that this has to do with your ambition, for sure. And the devil energy, kind of this mountain goat, right? In some ways, I feel like you're not driven by the same things you once were driven by. You're not hungry for the same thing. You kind of don't believe in the same things, and the things you want to pursue in your life are changing, and that's okay. Right? This could be also that you've decided that you want to do something alone. You've decided that you want to be that solitary mountain goat, and this is something that you don't want to be part of a team, It could be that you've agreed to do something with other people or a particular person, and now you're kind of saying, you know what, I've changed my mind, I'm going to go do my own thing. And this is your driving force. It's your creative drive. Well, it's your pleasure drive as well, right? It's kind of saying, I'm hungry for something else. It's kind of the great thing about the food court at the mall, right? Everybody can sort of go there. We're all there together, but we can all do our own thing. Everybody can get what they like, or the buffet or something anyway. Leave it to Paul, to bring it back to food, we've got a Princess of Swords, a princess, two princesses, right, and a queen. That's pretty good. And the Eight of Swords in that future position. Pisces, if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now we'll finish up putting our cards down. Then we'll get into these in more detail. There is an Ace of Pentacles, a Two of Swords, a Nine of Wands, very good, and the universe, your very own mountain, right? That's where the goat is going, wherever it wants, right? And it's kind of like that's the sovereignty. That's the autonomy that you have a right to. Okay? You don't owe anybody an explanation, although out of courtesy, yes, I'll tell you, I'm going to have the Chinese food over here. You can stay here and have the pizza. It's fine. Right? You don't owe anybody an explanation. Why don't you want to do this with me anymore? Why don't you want to be part of this group? Why don't you want to work here anymore? Why don't you want to be in this relationship anymore? You don't owe an explanation. Okay? But what you do owe, I think, is honesty. You know, we don't want to linger in a situation that we don't want to be in anymore. Okay, if you got an appetite for something different at the food court, don't settle for the Greek food when you really want the Mexican food. You know, you got to speak up. You have an opinion, and I think you have this power of voicing that opinion. Now, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, random card, Smith-Waite Tarot. We're going to set this one down right over here and put Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but it will tie everything together and give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Yeah. Let's use our intuition. All right? We need to do that. All right. Let's look around the room. Very interesting, our two major arcana cards, the Devil and the Universe. The goat, the mountain goat, your driving force, right? It's your appetite. It's your pleasure drive, your creative drive. It's your will and endurance, your perseverance. You want to make a dent in the world. This is the goat that wants to go out here, and maybe you don't know where you're going. Maybe you don't have an idea of where you'll end up. That's okay. Maybe you don't know how your journey will end. That's okay. You don't need to know all the answers, right? If we feel like look at this air energy. Air, air, air to air. No, we've got to go air, air, air to just willpower, to just do it, right? Because if we stay on this path of air and go this way, going down toward the Two of Swords, right, then we are stuck at indecision. Then we are never going to make a move. That we'll keep all of these things just in our heads, just as ideas, just as this conversation that we have with ourselves. It will never turn into action. Okay? We don't need to know all the answers. We don't need to have a reason. We don't need to be able to explain it to anybody. You don't have to know what your goal is even. You don't have to know where you're even going to end up. It's nice to have answers, of course. But if we're waiting for answers, if we're waiting for certainty, we're going to be waiting a long time. Okay? So, major arcana, yes. We've got fire, yes. We've got water, yeah, a little bit. We've got air, certainly. But we also have earth. Okay? So we have all of the elements here. A little heavy on the air, because I think there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of mental energy and a lot of ideas, a lot of words here, that of course eventually have to just give way to action. You know, intention, action, and results. Taking an actual step, making a decision, having the impulse for moving your foot, and then taking the step, right? When we kind of have that urge, we have that. You ever do that? Like you feel a little tickle on your skin, it's like an itch. You're going to go and itch it, but you just sort of stop yourself, right? You ever do that? You just sort of, you inhibit your impulse. Like your hand moves a little bit and then you just sort of stop it. That's the way our heart and our mind sort of step in to interrupt what should be a very natural, almost unconscious movement, scratching my arm or whatever, or those little things that we do, those impulses. And this is a very simple example, right? But could you imagine that you have an itch and instead of scratching it, you just sit there and think about it and you look around it. This hand was going to scratch that itch over there, or you're going to take a drink of your tea over here, right? And I'm about to do it, and then I just stop and I think, wow, this hand was just about to reach out and grab that tea. Do I really want the tea? I feel thirsty, yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the same old tea every day. And so we just start wondering, well, why do I want the tea? Why do I have the tea here every day? And we start getting into this mental energy of just analyzing it and looking at it and asking questions and trying to see if there's a problem there that I can solve. How do I get the tea to come to me? How do I keep the tea warm so it's not cold by the time I sip it after a half an hour of a tarot reading, right? And then I never end up taking the drink, and then we get distracted, we get to talking, and I end up not drinking it. And so we get into this air energy, and it interferes in its own way, and it interferes even to the degree that we don't even realize it. I forgot all about the tea until the very end, and I go through the routine motion of drinking it as I'm looking at the card, and it's a nice little outro. So our mind, our mental work distracts us from those simple things sometimes. We don't even realize that we're being distracted. Okay. Down beneath the surface, you have this Queen of Wands. And this is that fiery energy. This is kind of like there is this desire in you. There is this part of you that is ready to make this change. Doesn't really know why. This is like the impulse that you feel in you. It's like, I'm going to drink that cup of tea. I can't wait. I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm thirsty. I need it. That's what I want to do. I don't have to explain it to anybody. I don't have to tell anybody why I want to drink the tea or what that tea is going to do for me. Or if it means, I'm choosing tea instead of coffee. I don't have to have a reason why. Maybe there isn't a reason, right? This is that impulse within you that really wants to do this different thing, that really wants to go this mountain goat into the hills, up the mountain kind of thing. I don't know why. I just feel this impulse. I want to get out there and hike up a hill, Sometimes it just feels really, really good to do. Sometimes I sit there at night and I think, God, it'd be nice to be outside and to be climbing something, or hiking up a hill, or to be riding a bike or something, And I end up not doing it because there's a lot of other things that we need to do. And I'd end up just sort of thinking about it. But that impulse, and it's almost like a desire. It's almost like you can feel how good it's going to be. Yeah, and that's where we get our Princess of Cups here. You have this impulse, and it would feel good, but then your mind starts interfering, oh, well, it's raining outside, and I'd have to change, and it's already late. I got to work in the morning. I got to do 5 readings tomorrow. I got to wake up at 5 in the morning to do them, and yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll get on the treadmill or something, So we end up not doing it. But if we would just go with that impulse when we first feel it, running, hiking up a hill will feel so good right now, or going out and doing, I used to practice boxing, just getting up and doing some boxing, doing some of that work, and really, that'll feel so good right now in the body, right? It would feel great. We have to just get up and do it. We cannot let our mind interfere and slow us down, because further and further we get away from that initial impulse, the less likely we're going to actually do it. Okay? And that's what we see here with our air energy. But the devil just has that impulse, knows it's going to feel good to do it, and just does it. And it's a visceral pleasure, right? It's a visceral joy. If we overthink it, we ain't doing it. Okay? And I think in your situation now, we have this Princess of Swords in the background. I think that you kind of agreed to something maybe without full knowledge or full disclosure. I feel like somebody maybe sort of, invited you into something but didn't give you all the facts. You didn't have all the knowledge when you first entered. It's like you gave your word, you agreed to something without knowing everything about it. Well, that's kind of how life goes, okay? But as we gain more information, we might change our minds. But you're already locked in. That's why you got to read the fine print on the contracts, right? Social contracts are a little different. The fine print is not always there, right? Those catch-22s, those caveats, those the unrevealed details. There's no guarantee that you've been given all the information. There's no guarantee that the other person or party or the job or whatever has even been honest with you. So as your perception grows, as your knowledge and your awareness and your experience grows, you might have an impulse to do something else. Okay? It's kind of like, hey, do you want to go and you want to go study at the library today? Well, yeah, sure, okay. Let's go to the library and study. What they didn't tell you was that there was a carnival on the other side of town that you could have gone to. So it's kind of like, hey, false pretenses here. I don't know if I'd rather be at the library myself, but it's kind of like we agreed to something because at the time it wasn't revealed to us that there is a better option. It's kind of like, well, do you want Greek food or Mexican food? Well, I'll take the Mexican food. What they didn't tell you was that there was some other cuisine. There was some Indian food over there. Well, if I would have known that, I would have chosen that. Okay? But so not being given all of the options that are available, you're just doing the best with what you got. And that's the way life goes. We're never going to know all of the facts. So we have to choose the best option in the moment. But then as we get new data, we can make a better choice. We can change our minds, And that's the princess and the 5, but the 8. The 8 is the way we sort of get locked into something. The 8 is the way we ruminate on something, where I'm just sitting there in bed at night thinking of, how good it would feel to get on the treadmill right now, or how good it would feel to do the boxing. But then I start thinking too about all the other things I got to do tomorrow, how tired I'll be, I'll have to shower, it's already late, but it would feel so good, And the more I'm doing that process, the later and later it gets, the less likely, well, now it's midnight, now I can't do it anyway. So it's really the mind's way of stalling us out. Yeah. And that's the 8, it's the analysis paralysis. And we linger too long in the mental deliberations that we miss the boat. Okay, problem solved. It's too late to do it anyway. I can't decide what to eat. Well, now it's 8 o'clock. All the restaurants are closed. I don't know why they close at 8, but they do. So it's kind of like we stall it out until the decision is taken away from us anyway. So if you're feeling this impulse now, that you want to go, you have an appetite for something else, that you're going to go do something here, you got to go with that impulse. That Princess of Cups is saying that you can already taste it. You already know how good it's going to feel. I know how enjoyable doing the boxing thing that I used to do is going to feel when I get up and do it. I'm going to love it, right? Why don't I do it? My mind. My thoughts, okay? We control the thoughts and we control the universe. Yeah. So let's talk about the path of the serpent, and as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. It's free. It supports the channel, and, well, I appreciate that. So your ace of pentacles it's your general energy. This is the thing you want to do. This is that first step. First step is the most difficult. But you know that once you get out of bed and you've taken that, the first step is always the hardest. But once you've gotten out of that inertia, that inert state, it gets so much easier. As soon as if I were to get out of bed, take that first step, okay, well then all I got to do is put on my sweatpants and, get my boxing stuff and, I'm good to go. then it's the ball's already rolling, the path is already in motion, and we're building up momentum. We're building up steam. We're getting more and more fired up over it. And we do it once. It's going to be easier to do it tomorrow. And then the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And pretty soon we build up a 30, 60, 90-day routine or habit. And it's easy now. Now I don't even have to think about it at all. It's just automatically, it's 5 o'clock, I'm up and I'm at it. Okay, but that first step is always the most difficult. Especially if that first step is you having to tell somebody else, sorry, there's been a change here, change of plans. I'm going my own way. I want to do something differently. Now, it's a sticky situation because if you've given your word, said, okay, we're going to go have Italian food tonight. Yes, I promise. And then, of course, dinner time comes around. He said, sorry, we're actually going to go have Indian food. I've changed my mind, right? We still have an obligation to other people. And so our Two of Swords then can be a little bit of that balance that we're looking for, where it's we don't intentionally break our word. If you're breaking a promise in your life, Pisces, there's a good reason for it. Okay? And I think that's being shown by our Nine of Wands here. But in the flow of our air energy, we would end up with this very, this is kind of like a stop sign. And if we're in here ruminating on this idea or on this plan or this impulse that we feel, but we're just sitting here thinking about it, eventually the time's going to run out. Eventually we're going to stall it out and the opportunity is going to be gone. The restaurant will be closed. It will be now literally too late that I cannot go do the thing I wanted to do. Okay? So again, it's the mind's way of just stalling it out until the choice is removed from us. And then our Nine of Wands, of course, this is the direction we want to go. This is just simply connecting that impulse with our behavior. Simply connecting the sun and the moon, heaven and earth, fire and earth, right? Doing the thing. Not thinking about it. Just, you have the impulse, okay, get up and do it. That's it. We don't have to think about it, because if we got to try not to think about it, because if we think about it, we're not going to do it. This is also your resolve, your commitment, your willpower. This is your tenacity, your perseverance. And this, I think, is also you keeping your promises. You don't want to break your promise. You don't want to go back on your word. So if this is something that is causing you to have to disappoint somebody else, there's a good reason for it. And you need to know what that reason is and trust yourself and do it anyway. A lot of this air energy, it's not so much you thinking, well, I want to get up and exercise, but I'm really tired and I got to wake up in the morning. No, this is you saying, I really want to go pursue these other goals in life, but I feel bad. I've already promised that I'm going to stay here and do this thing with this other person, right? So it's kind of it's almost a guilt, right? And again, you're not somebody that likes to break promises. You don't want to you don't want to go back on your word. But this is something that means something to you, and it's going to bring you the greatest and most positive changes in your life. This is great fortune for you. With that universe card at the end here, this is everything. Right? This is saying that you're never going to get your best life. You're never going to get to the top of the mountain if you don't take action, even if it means that sometimes you have to break your promises. And we don't want to do that. It's regrettable, but sometimes it's very necessary. Let's look at our mystery card. All right. Let's see what this is revealing to us. This might be part of the method. This might be part of the process. This might be part of the product, right? This might be part of the results. Looking around here, what do we see? Maybe we need some good water energy. Maybe we want to see that, hey, this is a blessing, that this is working out great. There's going to be joy and love and celebration here, that this is the right move, Maybe we want to see the Wheel of Fortune. Maybe we want to see a 9 or a 10 of Pentacles. Okay. There is a good reason why you are changing your mind about something. Okay. Put your prediction down in the comments. Don't forget, the more you practice this, I guarantee it, the better you will get. Okay. All right, here we go. 5 of Pentacles. You're taking those steps. You're doing the thing. Okay? You're implementing change. Now, all of that changing your mind has resulted in changing your physical reality. All that stuff that we've been thinking about, now we're doing it. Okay? This is saying, yeah, okay, you got it. You're doing it. Right? That you're following this impulse because it's a divine energy. It is the major arcana. It is that devil energy, has an appetite for something big. And if you're going to go out here and achieve this, you got to get the ball rolling. You got to do the difficult thing and get out there and make the moves. Okay? It's all right that you don't know what the plan is. It's okay that you have to sort of disappoint somebody or say no to somebody or to change plans on somebody or whatever the case is here. Okay? That you are not beholden to this feels like a social contract, feels like a commitment even. Just because you said yes at one time in the past does not mean that you have to continue to say yes. But you do have a responsibility to be honest and say, look, I don't want that stuff anymore. I am sorry. I've changed my mind. You know, what if you already told that person that, yeah, all right, I'll start Monday. Yep, I'm going to come work for you. Come Monday morning, you better not just like ghost them, you know. At least give them the courtesy of a call and say, hey, I changed my mind. Thank you for the opportunity. Right? We got to be responsible, you know. But the 5, I think, is a very good confirmation that you're moving in the right direction for yourself. You're doing what you need to do, regardless of what you've previously committed to. Okay? This must be very, very significant if you're willing to sort of go through all this kind of stress, you know, to figure this thing out. Yeah. Now, we're going to do an extended reading, too. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Pisces, Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings, all right? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free to subscribe, and it supports the channel. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.